as I said, we are really a team with mustaches now, right? So that might be the first quiz. Who's doing better? 16 or 17 days of mustache growing for the November.
Yeah, I mean, yours is more salt and pepper. Mine continues to make me look like Mario. Like it just continuously, I just need to wear overalls and a red shirt at this point. Like that's where I need to get to. But awesome, Avi. You're going to be able to drive, kind of going through the presentation there?
Yeah.
Does that work? Great.
Yes. So I'm going to share my screen.
Great.
All right.
I think we might as well get started. We got a lot to cover here, Avi. So if you want to, with like no further ado, you can jump on in.
Yes. So what as the topic is that we're going to cover, and there's probably more reasons, but we did spend a fair amount of time on this, researching, putting together what experience we have. Justin has a lot of experience working with a lot of agencies as a kind of a trainer of the agencies as such. In my case, I have experience running agencies, and Kuvare one for now over 14 years, and looking at businesses even before that, evaluating businesses. So we just tried to put all of those together. So what we came to is that there could be many reasons, but what are the core reasons? What are the big reasons which make a biggest difference? 80-20 rule, if you will. And we wanted to focus on that. So that's what we'll try to cover today. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm going to you guys see this? It's like our same slide. People who are new, I'm at InvisiblePPC and Kuvare, the company which I founded, which has been around 14 years. InvisiblePPC we acquired, has been around now
almost 11.
Years.
Now almost 11 at this point.
11 years. And yes, and Justin is my partner in crime in almost all the work we do now. And so it's moving on. And basically, if contact it, just simple, Avi at InvisiblePPC.com. And Justin, of course, has a lot more cred when it comes to working with agencies because of one of the big deal being digital marketer, right? It is hard to find an agency who doesn't know digital marketer. So he ran digital marketer for a while, and he was behind the scenes person before that, what helped digital marketer get where they are. So he's with us. So I'm thankful that he's a partner here now. And Justin is just at InvisiblePPC.com.
Yeah, and do use those emails. I think like folks that have been on here before that have reached out to us, like Greg, you're a perfect example. Like we're pretty responsive on those things. So make sure like if you want to get in touch, have a question, it doesn't even need to be like transactional and like, how do I partner? If you legitimately have questions about the space or anything, like, please just shoot us messages. We want to be a resource for you. And we do reply to those, and we take that very seriously.
All right. So let's start why this is important. So in general, 9 out of 10 businesses fail. That's a stat most people know and remember. Startups, all kind of businesses, they fail. But even like if we go a little deeper, even more important stat is that actually only 4% of the businesses, of the agencies, they really end up making more than $1 million a year in revenue. And this is revenue, not profit. And it'll become soon obvious when I get into some more numbers to make the case why this failure rate is so high and what can be done about it. So reaching 1 million, you hear there are so many courses, 7-figure agencies. They always are talking about top line, by the way. Everybody's talking about top line, how to get to be a 7-figure agency. But being an agency owner and being a, average human being, I like to see how much money I take home, right? My wife doesn't care how big a business I run. She cares how much money we end up making, right? So it's the bottom line, which is even more important. So even before saying why agencies fail, let's think about it. What makes a successful agency? And you guys can put in just chat. What do you guys think? What will be?
We'd love to get that perspective from people. Yeah, throw in chat real quick. Like what's your definition of a successful agency real quick? We'll give people like 20 seconds to throw some things in there.
Yeah, it can be numbers based, or it can be, something satisfaction based, or whatever it is.
Okay, so Greg's going the altruist route. providing measurable value to clients. So he's not being that egoist. Oh, there we
Show
go.
me the money
There it
there.
is.
Yeah.
There it is.
It is there.
Love it.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Right. And almost all cases, somebody starts agency business. End of the day, it's like they're trying to make a living, right? You're getting out of either corporate or from you have already worked for agency. You want to create your own. Every situation, there is some kind of a money value. So consistently increasing revenue, that's a good one. Does somebody want to take a guess on what will be the number which you will consider you are, okay, successful? You started an agency, and again, this is going to be subjective, but I'm going to please put a stake in the ground that if you're doing this, then at least you're successful. So anybody wants to take, monthly or yearly revenue, basically bottom line number, not the top line, where you will feel that, consistent ROI. Those are great things. I'm getting more exact with numbers and data. As many of you know, my background is engineering. And in fact, in Kuvare, we say science of marketing. So it's all about science. Yeah, 50,000 MR with, that's a good one. That's a good one. That gives you a very clear, some kind of a target. If you're doing that, then, 50K MRR is good. If 30% of that, if you're getting every month, then at least you can say, hey, you have a little bit more than a job, and it's, you can continue and keep growing and look forward to it, right? So let me see what I put down here. So this is what I put down. Simple. 10K a month profit. At least you got to have that, because at least it needs to be a reasonably paying job, if you will, right? You own it as an owner. You should get this. And in current day and time, this is not a very big number, but it's not small. At least you are an owner. You have your own free time and everything. You got to have at least this. But the part which people forget when they look at this number is, if you have a 25%, if you look at 25% margin, which is not, as Basil was saying, that it's like 50K, 20, with 30% margin. 30% margin, if you have, is a good one. It's kind of agencies actually usually are at 15 to 20. So I said, just be liberal. Let's say 25% margin. At 25% margin, you need an agency which is doing 40K MRR. That's the monthly they need to be doing. So that 40K, if you're starting out, it is a big number. And to maintain it, to be successful, it is still a big number.
Which is funny, Avi, because you see all the courses out there, like how to build a like 7-figure agency, $1 million agency, or like 8-figure agency. Like they're not talking about going from zero to something like to sub million. Like that's not the dream they sell. And it is a heavy lift. Like you need a lot of it takes a lot of effort to get the momentum to get to that 40K number, especially in the agency space.
Yeah. And if you're going to go up to $1 million, it's like, that's like 83. I think it comes out to 83K approximately, right? So it's like almost double of that. And at this point, so it is a lot of work there. And of course, beyond work, there are certain things, if you do wrong, you kind of guarantee not to get there. So today's focus is actually more on the negative, and it's intentional, because there are so many courses which focus on the positive. This is how you can build the agency. This is what you can do. This is what you should do. So we said, let's look at the things which if we don't do, it'll be very difficult to be successful. So that's what we are focusing today. So let's get on it. So top 8 reasons agencies fail. Anybody wants to kind of throw some guesses out there? What do you think will be something which makes the top 8 reasons why agencies fail? What is your take? Let's make it a little interactive and see if you guys want to take a stab at it. Because initially, this topic also seems like, it's subjective. I'm going to try to make it as objective as possible here.
It's good. Some of the stuff we're seeing come in, like I think we're going to have a lot of overlap in these things. It'll be good to articulate this, but I think that people are saying some good stuff in here.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. So
too much overhead. So we're seeing come in from the audience. If you're not looking at the chat right now,
I'm looking at the chat. Yes, yeah. This is great. Yeah, I'm looking on the left side on the chat. Yes, so these are all great. These are all great. So actually, I'm glad that you guys are not going where many times you see a lot of people talk about things like, let me show you the things which people talk about. Cash flow issues. Okay, great. Of course, that's why you failed, cash flow issues. But what do you do with that? What do you mean? What do you fix? I mean, like, most agency owners, when they start out, they don't even know what is cash flow. So how do I deal with that? What is it about?
Mhm.
A lack of vision. These are kind of the things you'll see people talk about, right? I mean, these lack of expertise, okay? Financial literacy, that you don't understand how to run a business. Oh, you're just not working hard enough, right? But these are cliches and symptoms. So I'm glad the things which you guys pointed out, some of them are actually more about real things. So we're going to focus, we're not going to focus on these issues. Yeah, these companies were helping you build companies and grow. They will talk about vision, they'll talk about expertise. I'm not going to focus on that at all. In fact, I'm going to focus on much more nuts and bolts of things which don't work. And some of you have pointed those out. Only difference would be, in this case, we'll put it more in an organized fashion. So what are the real top reasons, underlying reasons, and the fixes? That's what we're going to focus on today. So let's try again. Wrong business model. So I'm sure you guys have heard this somewhere or the other, that you need the right business model. An agents saying, oh, your agency is a general business model, but within the agency, what kind of agency is a very, very important thing to consider. So initially, just think about it, how most agencies start. There's no business model. You're just saying is, okay, I'm going to be a marketing agency. And I mean, that's kind of how I started also. And then you're actually worried about getting clients, not worried about business model. I mean, so the way, at least 14 years back, I went to my dentist and my doctor and they became my clients, right? They knew I left Intel, so I must be a smart guy. I'm doing something in marketing, internet. I must know more than them. So they became clients. So it was like whosoever I'll get, basically. Anybody I could talk to, right? And my friend who owns apartment complexes, I said, oh, why don't you do just kind of a little website for those complexes? Great. So that's how most of the agencies start out, right? Whosoever you know. And there is no business model in mind at that time. I mean, you're not thinking about business model. You're trying to think, how fast can I grow? How can I get clients, right? And you just kind of try to get whatever we can. And that's what I did. That's what most agencies do. Other times, some agencies, they get a training and they say, I'm going to follow this plan. That's fine too. But there is certain things about inherently, which is a problem in agency business model. And I'm going to try to address those. That it does not matter in what area or what, but there are certain things, if you keep them right, you reduce, you increase your chances of your success exponentially. So let's get into that. This clicking thing is a little bit odd. If I move my mouse, it loses focus. So first, very, very important. You guys have heard probably, riches and niches and many other phrasing. Pick a niche. The fact you're getting everybody, it does not matter. You could have started that way. You could have run it for a year, but soon you got to pick a niche. You got to pick a niche. The other one, which is very, very important, is do not stay with project-based model. There are multiple reasons. One, your chances of failure is very high if you're working project basis. Second, your valuation, if you're ever trying to sell the agencies, much, much lower than versus if you're some kind of a subscription return. Of course, SaaS is perfect. People keep talking about SaaS, but we are agency. End of the day, we are offering service. So I'm talking about a service, which is a retainer and subscription-based model, right? So other thing I would add here is, which is not written, but explicitly here is, whenever you invoice clients for these services, if it is subscription-based, etc., line item them separately. Mm-hmm. Even if you have a bundle, you're offering them a bundle with a discount because I'll do all this for you and for, say 4,000 a month. Don't just invoice 4,000. Break those down with their pricing and then you can do a discount. Here is the reason. when they decide to cancel a service, you can always say, oh, you want to cancel that? We'll cancel it. You can still keep the other line items without the discount. If you just give them one invoice, they're canceling that 4,000. You just lose all subscription. So more you can break down, better it is, right? When you're doing this service-based, the retainer model. Other one is you do want to lock them in for preferably 6 to 9 months, but definitely no less than 3 months, because not much can be done in marketing anyway in 3 months. So why sign that up? So it's very important, find a niche and have some kind of a retainer subscription-based model. The other one is charge for everything, including setup. And we'll talk about this pricing a little bit, and do not be a generalist agency. This is initially when starting out, like saying, oh yeah, we do everything. We are a full service agency. Full service agency, to run a full service agency, the number of resources required and skills required is huge, huge. So the closest I would say you can go to a generalist or a full service is maybe you're a strategy agency, which provides strategy. And then you say, for implementation, I work with partners. Actually, Justin has presented this model in one of the webinars before.
Yeah.
That either picking a vertical of fulfillment or being strategy, so that you could, there you're kind of generalist. It's okay to stay there. Even there, I would say pick a niche. Is it a B2B more or B2C where you do the strategy? So you got to pick very specifically which area, what do you serve? You will be surprised. The biggest fear when starting out the business is, if pick a niche, I'm not going to get business. So when you pick a niche, you don't have to necessarily turn down all business which does not fit in your niche. But the main idea is you will prospect, you will seek business in your niche only. You can still pick few things here and there just to, on the side, and take very few if you're not very busy, but actively prospect only in a niche. This is, I think, probably the business model is probably not doing the right business model is the number one reason why agencies will just not grow and fail. Project basis, you get few projects. Some years are amazingly good, and then few months suddenly things go bad. You have to lay off staff, and you're, and then you have a problem, and you're just going up and down with it. So this is what needs to be set right as soon as possible.
Yeah, and to add into there, I do want to stress the importance of talking through, when you're talking about niche, you're talking about the air, kind of almost I guess it's not necessarily an industry, but that you need to have both a niche and a specialty. You don't want to confuse either of them. You don't want to be a complete generalist at the niche level, or a specialized SEO firm for all niches, right? So you want to break those down. For example, here's we worked with in the past, many people that focus in one particular niche with one particular service. One thing that stands out for me, I believe it was automation for ophthalmologists. That's all they did. All they did was talk about how they could run automation campaigns for anything coming in order to improve bookings as well as expansion. They were hyper specialized. They started working with us when they realized, hey, we have a revenue opportunity here to get more people into the automations that we just built, right? And that's how you can grow your agency, by being specialized in a particular set, and then kind of looking at the overall marketing kind of goals that are being done at your agency. If you're in automation, you're in activation and conversion land. How do you get more conversions? You get more people. That's when you start expanding services to activation. So then you become an acquisition agency versus just an automation or PPC or SEO one. So you want to have a plan there, but you also want to look at how you can what your growth trajectory looks like as well, and what your opportunity is when you're selecting the services that you're going to offer. Obviously, you want to pick the services that you're uniquely qualified to do. You don't want to go into something where you suck, because then you're not going to last. But you want to have those plans in mind.
All right. So the next closely related reason why agencies fail is saying yes to everything which comes your way. So this is the idea of, so what happens when you're starting out? Initially, you might feel that you need to say yes because you kind of think you don't get enough business. But something else happens, at least happened to me. After a while, you start realizing, thinking you do know more than these clients. Initially, you're worried. I don't know. I'll take whatever I can. But then realize you know more and you feel like you can help everybody. And the thing is, oh, yeah, I can fix this business. You feel like you can fix every aspect of it, right? For everybody. And you start saying yes. And people will start signing up. And, that can really take you down the path of, and the few things which are coming up in the list later, they all will start breaking. If you start to say yes to, to everything, your reputation, what you are known for, everything goes away when you start saying yes to everybody. In fact, I'm not in I'm in home office, not in my office here. But if any of you guys have looked at the webinars in past, there is a sign I have on the back which says reject 80% prospects. At Kuvare, that's what our goal was. Say no to 80% who came to us. Because once we figured out what all we do, we were looking for a match, right client, right service. And we said, this will be a good way to look at it. Like, I want to just pick only 1 out of 5. And you might say, oh, I'm not getting enough business. I cannot afford that. No, you cannot afford taking everybody on. It might seem that way, but in longer run, it's going to really, really come back and bite you. So think of that. Just don't say yes to everybody, right? You really, really need to think that where is your strength, who you'll be able to make a big difference. Because keep in mind, where your strength is, what you're able to do best, that person will give you the testimonial. And once you have 2 or 3 testimonials in one area, you become, that's where your niche comes in, and that's where your specialty comes in. So you don't want to start saying yes to everyone and everyone who comes your way. It is very tempting. Feels like you're leaving money on the table, but please don't. Justin, you want to add something to this?
Yeah. Like, I think, and I mean, this isn't just a problem for new agencies. Like, Avi, you and I literally on the phone yesterday had a conversation about, are we saying, like, we need to be careful that we're not saying yes to this. This needs to be baked in your agency's DNA, even as you grow, because this is the first way for you to start crumbling away at any foundations you've worked so hard to create. It's so easy to just chase the dollar and say, like, I can do that, whether you're motivated by money or you're motivated by problem solving. Like Avi was saying, like, we like to think we can handle anything, like, and especially for us, like, we're the doers. We like to tinker, figure things out. So it's easy to say yes all the time, but it's critical that at any stage of your business, you're asking yourself, am I saying yes too much?
Yeah, and I'll give you this other. More you are the innovator kind and who likes to problem solve, like many of the people who start business, they are one of those people, worse it is for us. In fact, my team, I think Chin is probably our COO, she's on call. I told her I want to get on more sales calls just to see how things are going. She said, no, I'm banned from being on the sales call because I'll see a client who's kind of completely off and different, but I think we can still figure out a way to help them. And I won't want to say yes. So Justin is absolutely right. This is not even for new agencies. If you're the kind who is a problem solver, you feel like you can solve everybody's problem. But as a business, that's a wrong decision. As an individual, it's great. You are creative. You want to help everybody, but it's not going to be a good strategy for a business, right? So number 3, not enough clients. So this goes into, okay, of course, if you have not enough clients, it's actually a little bit more to this.
Yeah.
It's not just not enough clients, or you might have a client who's very large and others are very small, and you lose one client and you're done. So you need that diversity, enough clients that you are just not dependent on one client. We had a situation at Kuvare when there was a client paying, I think it was upwards of 40,000 a month, and the next closest client was like 9 or 10,000 a month. And when we lost that client, and it was interesting reason. The reason we lost that client was because the client said we were spending 200K a month on ad spend. They wanted to spend $500,000. We didn't think that the ROI was there, so they got mad at us and they fired us. So that's it. I didn't realize that. Obviously, we sucked at understanding what clients' intent was. We could have kept them, but really they were losing money and they still wanted to do more just for a little bit of a vanity, and they had the money. So, but when we lost, that was, man, it was like, we all were like, everybody, every team is like, so if you are not diversified enough with enough clients, so there'll be a problem. So how do you deal with this, right? Of course, we all want a lot of clients, right? So that's the other way to say is, Avi, what are you telling me? Like, yes, we want more clients, but we just don't have clients. How to solve it? So I said, so let's get into that. You got to plan the growth. You really need to plan this. And if you think you're doing a great job and your other clients will get you enough business, they will not. First, you got to push them. Even if they do, it's going to be very little. You really need to figure out, where is the source of your best clients? Is it conferences? Is it Google Ads, or attending, or is it sponsoring events? What is it? For us, for Invisible PPC, we are still experimenting with this.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep experimenting, because what worked a few years back might not work anymore. Right now, in our case, I think the best source is coaches. Agency coaches send us a lot of business. That has worked great. But we still keep experimenting in the other one. So the approach which I'll recommend to do is, first keep experimenting, find your cheapest way to acquire clients, and spend 80% of your money and energy on that. But just don't spend 100% of energy on that specific channel. Keep the 20% for that, because the channel could change. If it changes, you don't have a secondary channel to work on. So you do want diversity in this as well. But initially, we're starting out, just 80-20 works really well, because you have 20% set aside for some other channel where you want to go and get this thing. And when you're doing that, one question might be, man, I don't have enough money for ads. I don't have enough. We'll come to that in the next week, and we'll cover that. But for now, whatever money you have and what you're going to spend to grow, focus on finding a channel.
Yeah, you'll have a disproportionate amount of like your budget spent on acquisition during this phase. Like, you do need to invest in it. If you're not, you're overly reliant on the referral leads, they will dry up. And then one other piece I wanted to jump into, Avi, here was it's not just a matter of like not having enough clients, it's also having the right types of clients, right?
Yeah.
So this goes back to the business model and things we were talking about. It's easy to say, oh yeah, I have all of these one-off like web design clients. Great. But what do you have next month? What do you have in 3 months? What does that look like? And then additionally, you need a plan for growth from an operations perspective. So not just an acquisition perspective, because you need to be able to hang on to these clients, right? So if you're signing far too many people, you might die of your business can die of indigestion, not starvation, in that way, where you're not hitting kind of those targets. So making sure that you have the right type of mix of clients at your agency is super critical. If you look at like the business model for Invisible PPC, like I liken like IPPC's agency business model to like a 401k. Like it grows over time, and it is kind of like the sustainable business. Whereas like a standard full, like not full service agency, but like a specialized agency that is taking on like, more high ticket clients, that's going to be almost like crypto, where it can get, the ups and downs can be huge, but then there's downs, and then there's lots of them. So it's a matter of knowing within your portfolio what you're offering in terms of like your higher ticket offerings, as well as like your longer term kind of almost subscription based types of things for where you can count on revenue coming in each and every month.
Right. So so this actually just went back. I didn't mean to, but this is what kind of clients that matters. Mm-hmm. The picture is kind of trying to do that a little bit. So yeah, the question, I don't have enough money. Charging too little. You're giving so many offers and charging too little. I mean, this is where this is a story I've milked quite a lot. Some of you have heard it, but you got to hear it one more time. If you have, I apologize. If you have not heard, it's a great story because it's exactly true. At Kuber, we had we used to give advice to clients what they need to do for free. So that part was art of strategy. Then we came up with a product and we said, okay, we're going to do this. What you need, we're going to charge $4,800 for it. And we produced a 80, 90 slide deck, which we analyzed the heck out of the competition and everything. And we started charging 4,800. And we were doing that for a long time. Then, at some point, just reading through and everybody and charging right, I decided to just double the price to 9,600. Nobody complained. In fact, at 4,800, we used to get, wow, this is amazing. This is very impressive. At 9,600, we were getting still a lot of people saying this is amazing, right? We used to charge 50% upfront. Exactly same product. We added, I think we added CV by the time we had added CBJ, which you can charge usually, from digital marketer. You can charge for that 1,500. So when we went to 9,600, we did add something. And then one day, I'm sitting in a sales meeting, and just before the client comes into our office, and those were days, at least for Kuber, clients used to actually come to the office, check us out because they traveled all the way from Houston to Austin to make sure that they want to work with us. The salesperson is sitting with me, and she says, Avi, they really are this is going to close. They're going to be a big client. But only thing is that, that 9,600, we charge 9,600 to tell them what we'll do. It just doesn't make sense. I think, can you do something about that? Because she knew we used to charge 4,800, right? She said, can we kind of discount that or something? Because probably we'll make 10, 15,000 a month from them anyway. Can you do something? So I said, okay, I said, and meanwhile, the client walks in. So I never got to answer Haley, or a salesperson there, that what I'm going to do. And then I go through my little pitch explaining to them how we do it. And our pitch is usually just on a blackboard. Actually, we had a glass board. We still have glass boards. So a black glass board. So I did the whole pitch. I mean, no things. And then they asked me how much. I said, yeah, we do charge for figuring this out and everything. This is what we do. And instead of 9,600, I wrote on that black glass board 19,800. And you should have seen Haley. She's looking at me that I just told you, drop the price, double the price. Because it was a little bit, I was a little angry internally at Haley. Man, our own salespeople doesn't understand our value. How can we sell? So, and this was Thursday. That Friday, the client signed the deal at 19,800. So we were charging too less, right? Because that client saw the value that there is there. And by the way, that product now we charge 24,800. That's our standard price. Everybody pays 24,800 for that. So that's a story of like, hey, most cases, because we are the experts, we know our stuff so well. As an agency owner, you know so much about marketing. You assume what you know is easy because it comes easy to you. What comes easy to you is not easy for client. So we undervalue our services. We undervalue our time. Very, very all the time, because we are justifying, oh, they could go to somebody VA and get this done. Really, if they could get it done through a VA, they would be working with a VA. They came to you for a reason, right? So, so you really need to be not scared to charge your cost, which is your time cost. If you have a fulfillment partner, their cost plus cleanly your margin. That's simple as that. You got to have the margin in there. And in margin, by the way, keep in mind, sometimes you'll be paying referral money, 10% to all those things should be included in that pricing, right? So it's basically, you got to be convinced yourself that you provide value. If you're not convinced, then it's very hard to charge. You need to think through what is the value you're providing, and you should charge for it. All right. Anything, Justin, you want to add here?
No, I think one of the litmus tests I had, this was like a contested LinkedIn post I put up like a couple of weeks, about a month or so ago, when it was like, if you're consistently in sales meetings or in sales calls and you're hearing oh, wow, that's a great value, or I can't believe, or wow, like if it's such a no brainer, you're charging too little. Like that's really a good litmus test. Like, you don't want to be racing to the bottom, right? This isn't what this is. Like, this, like, there's always going to be someone who's more inexpensive than you. And if you get into that game, you're only going to lose and you'll be out of business. So really understand the value you provide. Because I think, yeah, Avi, you nailed it, that like these people like need your help. They're talking to you for a reason. Don't undercut yourself. Right. And I know, like, especially if you're a newer agency, it's hard to say like, like to write that $19,000 charge on a board. It's hard to do. But if you truly believe you're providing that value in spades, put that on the board. Like that's just how you need to be looking at it, because they don't race to the bottom. We get critiques all the time, like, hey, you're a little bit more expensive than some of the white label competition out there. It's like, yeah, we are. We do more. Like simply put, and we believe in our value. That's just kind of how we've looked at it, and something that you should think about as well.
Yeah, maybe this line here, this is a phrase one way or the other I've heard. I'll explain this. Don't fix the sales problem by reducing price. So the sales problem is you're having difficulty selling, which means you have not articulated the value. Just because you have not articulated the value well, doesn't mean you need to drop the price. You need to figure out why you're not able to articulate value. Where is the value? How do you explain it? That's what you need to focus on. So you don't drop price just because you are not able to explain, because that will be a losing proposition always. All right. Of course, in the audience, at any stage of development, this is a problem which is everybody deals with, right? All the time, right? For me, starting agency, my view was, once I got some confidence in 2-3 years, was like, what can I not do? I was a computer engineering bachelor's and master's, PhD dropout, started a company that time with my professor, then worked for major companies and had an MBA after that. Man, what the heck can I not do? What aspect? I can code my own website. I can do the technology. I can do the business analysis. So why should I not do it? Right? So went through that phase, and this is for sure will make you. It will become a job, not as agency owner, and you're not going to make too much money at all. It seems like initially you're saving money, and you're going to make more money because you can do it everything yourself in-house by yourself without hiring or outsourcing or whatever it is. And we get into this at every. Even now I get into it in different way. And there's some technical stuff, man. I can do this spreadsheet or API so quickly. I'm going to do it. Really, I've got a team of half a dozen more developers, and let me do the API. So it's like trying to do it yourself is definitely not a way to go, right? And try not to do this, right? So what you need to do, even if you know it, first is delegate, and of course that implies that you have somebody under you. They could be a VA, assistant or whosoever. Basically, one way I explain this to my team members is this: think McDonald's, think any franchise. They want to teach every skill. They push it down to the lowest, cheapest labor who can do it at the lowest cost. So I tell the team members and team leads, you need to, if your job can be done by somebody below you, just let them do it. Keep pushing it down, because it's cheaper to do it at that level, right? So any and every stage we encourage delegate. And then the other one, of course, is if there are areas where you don't have full team and it is difficult to build team, outsource, white label that fulfillment. And of course, they're a white label agency. So this is definitely comes across as self-serving at the same time. But the way to think about this is this: you will only do this if it adds value. You want to outsource and white label if it's adding value, which means if you're able to sell more and manage more relationships and make more money, then you do this. Otherwise, of course not, right? So it's easy test, right? Do you end up making more money by outsourcing and white labeling? If yes, do it. If not, no, don't do it. If your agency want to grow, then think in those terms. So the way to think is, look at the core functions, which you're really good at, and you have resources. Keep those with you personally, some cases, some things, and others with other team members. And all the expertise where you don't have it, look for fulfillment partner in this, right? So this one, as I said, this is this one we're going to spend a little bit more time, because one service specifically and few more we really are available to help you. We are white label invisible PPC, right? So you guys know that PPC, if it is PPC, this slide usually shows up right on top, but we thought it was perfect way to move it down instead of telling us who we are, because this is the perfect timing to tell you guys that, yeah, our PPC services include everything. It's a full service landing page to all the way. So we are responsible for conversion. We are responsible for everything. So of course, you guys know this already. Now let's get a little bit more into a few more things we've been looking at, and some we need feedback from you guys. And we thought this was a perfect place to talk about it. White label Google Ads, we are well known for it. This is our core offering. Still remains core offering, probably will remain. If it is the name remains Invisible PPC, probably this will remain core offering all the time, right? We also do white label Facebook as a ads as an add-on, and is available if you're already doing Google Ads. We also do that, and many of you are actually using that. We are starting a pilot program, just getting started, for white label TikTok ads. We already do TikTok ads on Kuber site, so we know how it is done. But as a white label, we are starting this pilot program. The service which we are very excited about, which we have already started, and I'll talk about it where we are on numbers. It's under our our business name has been Incognito Pros as Invisible PPC. It's a full stack web developer in a box. The idea is, imagine one equivalent resource assigned to you full time, who can do front end, back end, and database work. They can work on WordPress, they can work on WooCommerce, they can work on Shopify, go high level DevOps. There are a few other platforms probably they can work on, but I wanted to focus on the ones which for sure there'll be no problem, right? And they can handle DevOps is where, oh, you are having problem with SSL or the site is not loading. All those things are covered just with one full stack web developer. And where we are with this services right now, we have a pilot program. We said, we should test this before we go to this, because we had the internal resources anyway to do this. 10 slots, 3 are filled, 7 are open right now. And we'll show how to, if you're interested in this. Just with, and I'm going actually, I do have in fact, I have a testimonial from one of our pilot guys. He's been doing it for reaching 2 months now. So I'll talk about that. Maybe after that, I'll ask about the interest. Something else, Justin, you want to add before I do the testimonial for this?
No, I think we can get into that, and then just we still have just to let people know, this is just a quick detour before we jump into the rest of the reasons there. So don't drop off or anything like that yet. But we've been seeing some really cool stuff here, so we wanted to share it with one of our clients.
Yeah, this is Caleb, and he might be there. I don't know if I'm called. Caleb, if you're there.
He's not on right now.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if it is sharing or not.
Oh yeah, it's not the audio is probably. Oh yeah, you'll have to share with the audio.
Yeah, let me share. Yeah.
Technology is hard.
You see the video again, right? Screen is correct, right?
Screen's wrong.
Okay. Share.
All right, there you go. There's the screen.
And the sound?
The client was like,
Yep.
oh,
Sound was there. Okay, I'm going to restart.
the client was like, oh, we'd love to have, the following functions on a video testimonial block. And I was like, that's not simple. And so I basically just went and said, just make this, and went to bed, woke up the next morning, and it was there, fully functional, ready to go. So far, the best thing I've liked is having a full stack development team that, one, understands and can use the systems that we use every single day, accelerates the development, obviously, but then also they're able to take the the level of development up. So they're able to do things that we were never able to do. And just because of the time differences, the way everything's kind of worked out with that too, is that if you just put the work order in, a lot of times they're working while you're not. Let's just say if you had a meeting with your client and developed out the content and the strategy the day one, you could send out that over to the development team. And by day 2, day 3, those ideas have already been completed and you're moving on to the next content with whoever else you're working with. So it's been really nice. We had one website that had over, I think it was like 300 blog posts that need to be formatted. Whoever it was a complete bulldog that just went through and they cleaned up everything at mass volume. And that would have just never been done. That would have never been done. Like that blog would still 5 years from now, it would have never been fixed. Like we would have told the client, yeah, we'll get to it eventually. Let's finish the website. It would have never got done. Communication's been great. Only a 5-star for me. I mean, I feel like the only reason why it would be any less is because I realize how fast they're able to help develop the ideas that we have. And then I'm just like, oh man, I'm a failure. I can't get them enough work. Like that's the thing. It's like you don't realize when you've got a team that's that good and that fast, how much you're slowing the process down.
All right. So that's, yeah. So thank you, Caleb, for amazing testimonial there. So now before I go on here, just want to hear in comments any or even questions in this area that any of you guys see. Like that's why we're doing a pilot program, because we don't know how much is the interest, what will be the level of this thing, interest in this. We have, as I said, 3, and we have not done any, we have not solicited. This was all existing clients who have been telling us, hey, can you help us with this? Can you help us with this? So we kind of said, okay, let's do this. So anybody has any comments, questions on this specific service?
So we have Derek raising his hand. Derek, did you mean to raise your hand because you wanted to? Do you want to say something, or were you just saying you were interested by raising your hand? Just throw that in the chat real quick. Happy to unmute you as well if you have any questions. Chat. Yep, not seeing anything there. I think maybe he was just getting involved. Yeah, I think we can move on and we can talk a little bit towards the end.
Yeah. We'll have time for.
The client was like, oh, we'd love to have.
Let's see, how do we do this? Okay.
Before we move on, Derek had a comment to make. So Derek, I'll unmute you if you want to bring that up. 1 second. Let me. All right, you're ready to go.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, actually, the comment I wanted to make is, Avi, my background's kind of like yours. I came out of the corporate world and thought I could do everything. And the thing I found is I'm doing this very thing, but I'm struggling. So I'm glad to hear that you're getting into this, because finding a really good full stack development team is not the easiest thing in the world. There's lots of teams out there, but finding ones that are really highly qualified, not so much. So I'm thrilled to hear that you're doing it.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, this has been 13 years in working. We have had this internally for a long time in Kuvare.
Right.
So that's where I kind of realized that when we start talking white label, when other agencies said, oh, they work with a freelancer, but freelancer keeps saying, I cannot do this. And then they are again looking for somebody else. So I said,
right.
Oh, we never had that problem. So why not? Then I kind of realized, oh, we build our team to do all this. So
Right.
that's when we said, oh, can we offer this as a service, as a white label service? That's where we came up with it.
Yeah, that'll be great. Thanks.
All right. So let's talk SOPs. So the other reason of failure, number 5, with that brief self-serving commercial there, we're back to our regular programming. Like SOPs, like if you don't have documented SOPs, and by the way, I'll have to say this, working in corporate America, I hated process. There were process people, there were process teams, right? And obviously anybody who works in big, worked in Motorola, AT&T, Bell Labs, and Intel, I dislike the process there. And there was a good reason to dislike process, because they just go too process heavy. But as I came to running agencies, and when we acquired agencies, we acquired a few businesses here and there, we learned that, man, our process really saved the day. And process is what allowed, those SOPs is what allowed us to be so very efficient. In fact, so much so, we have a weekly meeting just to discuss how we can improve our SOPs, where our full team across US, Philippines, and India, everybody's there, and anybody can raise hand and bring up what can be improved. And that has been so great because at every stage we get the process. So we are really, and if you think about it, as Invisible PPC, as a white label service provider, you as agency owners or consultants who work with us, what do you want? You want that consistent result. And consistent result, managing so many accounts, right? Like we are managing in each niche dozens or multiple dozens at a time. To get that consistent result, we need a consistent system. So process is very, very important for us. So we are a major fan of process, but it's for any agency. Here is the other general problem which happens when you don't do process. Almost always, and first 5 years of Cougar, we face this. If you don't have a process, you always end up doing more work for client for no additional money. Because you just don't know where is the line drawn, right? What all was committed. When you have a process, when you have SOPs, you say, for this, we do this, this, this. If it doesn't fit, that means it must be extra, which means we need to charge extra. If we don't have that, and and this is, I'm pretty sure an audience, hopefully people relate to this, that you just keep doing whatever is necessary and are not able to, ask any questions. Like you are not able to charge any more for that because you just kind of don't know where it ends. What all you communicate, what all you're going to do. But if you have SOPs, that problem completely goes away. And so saying the process and SOPs, one of the challenges I found is that how the heck do you build it? So this is the method we applied. Anytime a new task comes, just do it. Only thing you need to do is, in addition, record the steps, every step you took, right? And once the second time it comes, look at the steps, refine them. By the third time, you should have the process. Your SOP should be done. You got to do it like a couple of times for sure before you will have a process. And writing down and building a process without actually doing it is the wrong way to do it. First time you got to do it, whichever way experimental. It's like almost like you're going to make a burger. First time, just make the burger, right? And then you write the steps. This is what you did. Second time, you get better. And by third time, you'll have a pretty good idea of that, how to make a burger, right? So that's really what it comes down to, right? Yeah, this is something we do. We recommend you guys do to some kind of a weekly meeting discussing what is the process, what all you do, how do you do it. And other one is there are always some clients and some really want to help us. Some they just want to talk and give us a lot of feedback. Both of those clients, we really value them. Even if they come across, sometimes they'll come across, some of those clients will come across as very harsh and overly critical. But they are very valuable source of figuring out what in the process could be fixed. So our approach is, in that situation, meet with the client, figure out where all things they feel friction is high, and improve the process. So that's how we build our process. So absolutely, this can be a major reason why your business will fail, because you don't have a process, and every time something new comes, you're trying to figure it out. Your people don't know what to do. They're trying to figure it out. It's taking longer than necessary. Then end of the day, time is money, and you end up losing money instead of making money on that project, right? Justin, you want to add more to the process?
Nope. That's I think that process is one of your most important assets. Like, especially like when we're looking at, acquiring agencies, like we're digging into their SOPs, because if they don't have that written down, like we're not going to want to take that on. That's just more work for us.
Yeah. And the next one is not setting expectations, right? You got to set expectations right. And don't try to close the sale by setting higher expectations, because you can close the sale that way. I mean, I understand, I'm not saying is that we lie for setting for sales, but it is very easy to use our best case scenario or our best case study to close the deal, while when we know in reality we are not going to hit that, because eventually that client is going to be unhappy and going to leave. So if you set the expectations right, in fact, if you set unrealistic expectations, sometimes you lose sale right there. Good clients, they can tell from the expectations that is it like, are you overpromising there? So it's really, really bad. Instead, underpromise. Even if it is a sales call, underpromise. If you close that sale with that underpromise, and if you can overdeliver, you will have a client who will stay with you for a long time. All our estimates we provide are based on that. Almost 95% cases when we provide cost per acquisition, cost per lead estimates, we provide them higher than what we can achieve. Because whatever reason, Google could change, something could change. We start with a number which is, we can almost always beat them and come back with a better number. And obviously client will be happy. So again, don't fix the sales problem by overpromising. Instead, you just need to show the value and set the expectations properly. Right? Anything more, Justin, before I move on to, I think, the last one.
The last one.
Lack of meaningful communication. It's very, very important. This was one thing I would say, if one area in the career of Kuber and all, we always did well. Like we communicated throughout. I mean, this was something, the process we had set up, that be transparent. As things are failing, tell the client.
Yep.
Make them part of your discussion. So this is one area there was not of a learning, in the sense we were always good at this and we have always, but it has helped us tremendously. We didn't run into a situation where there were sudden surprises where a client came back and didn't know what was happening. And the important part here is you got to consider internal communications also. Everybody in your team, from your sales to fulfillment, everybody should know exactly what you do, how you do it. One of the things we did and tried is that just create a quiz about your business and ask your employees to answer everyone and see if they all answer the same questions. Do they feel it very differently? This is, it's as you grow larger, in our case, we did find that, hey, some people thought, oh, we did things this way versus other, right? In client communications, the communication starts, you got to sell the expectation at the sales meeting itself. You should tell them how will you work with them, what will you do for them, what results to expect, and what things would be a deal breaker for you, that when you will stop working with them. We are making it a point and adding more things like a checklist, that our client on onboarding will see a checklist that, do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? Did you see this? Do you agree? If not, sorry, we cannot work. We're not going to take your money if you don't agree on these things. So it's just setting that parameters, that how often you'll communicate, when will they get the message, right? You got to have a regular cadence. Other one, this one, in fact, we did Justin did a LinkedIn post, and I think we even wrote a link on this, is about a client who's paying you month by month, but is not talking to you, is a client who's going to leave you.
Yeah.
So the fact they're paying and you feel everything is happy, it's perfect, but the fact they don't respond back is eventually they're going to leave you. So it's important to not feel good about, oh, I've got this client for 6 months, they've been paying, there's no problem, but they just don't talk to us. So you got to have, and apologize, the spelling mistake there, expectations. Over communications, that's wrong too. So, so overall, don't set false expectations. You need to set very clear expectations on communications, right? Really need to set very clear on, this is how we will communicate this often. If there is a problem, this is where we will do it. So this is very important, and this is, in general, at least this one area we always did well, but it's easy way to fail if you don't do this right.
Absolutely.
Because if you are working with a client and if you're failing, if you've been communicating, that client will become your partner. They will understand why things are not working. They'll work with you to find solutions. If you're not communicating and not working with them, I mean, you lost the client and the relationship. They will never come back. The client. We have clients who we work with. Some might be here who will say, hey, that didn't work out, but really there are 3 other clients I'm bringing. That was just not a good end client. We still want to keep working with you. That is only possible for us to do because we communicate and we work with them. We are transparent in what's happening. So it's very, very important in client communication to make them a partner in the process. All right. Justin, you want to recap?
Yep, and I have to jump real quick, so I can do a quick recap, and then we can take it away. So, really, the top 8 reasons you're seeing there: it's either wrong business model, saying yes to everything, not enough clients. That's kind of a duh, but not enough of the right clients, charging too little, know your value, doing everything yourself, know when to ask for help, make sure you're documenting everything, make sure you're setting appropriate expectations, and then communicating that over time. So the last one there, Avi. And then before I have to jump off, I just wanted, for those interested and want some help, white label Google ads. Obviously, it's kind of what we're all about. Reach out to us. We'll get on a call. The web developer in a box series, just click down to like go.invisibleppc.com/pilot programs, and you can pick any of these in here if you're interested in, and we can set up a time to chat. So make sure to fill it in. There's still only 7 spots left, and that's at $3K a month. Facebook management add-ons are for our partners only. So reach out to your account manager, and we have white label TikTok ads as well. And that is a brand new pilot.
All right. So Justin, if you have to jump off, I will stick around.
Cool.
For Q&A. And Chinmay, if you're there, can you help with this as well? All right, let's see Q&A. All right. Yes. So I'm going to answer. I have a question from Vic that do we have a consistent funnel structure and template that you use to tweak it with time for how to deliver on PPC? Invisible PPC situation, the way it works is the best results we get is by starting first with our best known knowledge for that niche, which means we will have a best known landing page which converts already. So we will have a structure for that landing page. In fact, that's a resource available on our website that what is the ideal structure for a landing page. So we will start with that structure of landing page, of course, customizing the logo, the USPs, etc., for that specific client, any client there, and after that we go into just 1 second here. I'm just trying to. Yeah. So I was looking at the question again. So we've customized those things for the client, but otherwise it starts with a general guideline template we have. Same thing with ads. So if it is a HVAC ad, we kind of know what kind of HVAC ads work, and right now what they're working. We'll start with that and change things in those ads where it is appropriate based on the location and the name, etc. Then we apply the negative keywords, which we have 2,000 to 3,000 in most categories. That's a big thing, we can only have that because we've been doing this for so long. That's the hardest thing, because when you start an ad, you don't know what all people will type and what is negative. You don't want those to click, and that's where that increases your cost. In our case, we already start with 2,000 to 3,000, which we already know. Then we start tweaking them for as we go forward. So you're right, Vic, in saying that if with time it evolves, yes, because we do this consistently. So over months, we start finding, oh, this is not working anymore. These kind of offers don't work for plumbers anymore. So we would have changed. So we will use the latest ones, what we work. So, the landing pages, we are continuously testing, A/B testing every, right in the beginning when we launch, every couple of weeks. After that, we keep checking. Even if you're performing, everything is within range, we still do A/B testing to improve if we can get even better, right? So that's where we go. So usually we have 10% accounts. Our threshold is no more than 10% accounts should be underperforming, which means whatever targets we have given. Usually we manage to do it under 5, and we want 20 to 25% overperforming, which means they are doing much better than what we promised. Rest are in the middle, kind of a bell curve, but skewed towards. It is a little bit on the lower end. There are not that many. With this many numbers, that's how we look at our data. That if you're not doing that, then we are not doing very well for ads for clients. The other question is TikTok ads. So TikTok's ads will be at least right now, it's a pilot, but we're going to be charging exactly the same as Google PPC ads, nothing more, including us doing the creative, as long as you provide the raw footage, video, and etc. So right now, we're going to start out, at least for our pilot program, exactly same pricing as Google Ads PPC. It probably is a little bit more work, especially with the creative, but we think we can kind of, we're doing pilots, so we need to figure it out. So we're not going to charge anything more than that. All right, and any more questions or comments? Oh yeah, what can you do on TikTok? Actually, you can do, let me put it this way. Anything which you could do on Facebook, you can do better on TikTok now. They use very similar and even better targeting. And it's the cost of ads is typically 35 to 40% lower for same ads. So it could be local service ads, almost anything you could do. Only the things you could not do is any medical claim ads and all are not allowed, which is kind of similar on Facebook, that part. Okay. Any other questions? Well, so the Chinese data gathering service, they will steal your data. I think I understand on a maybe national level of that being a concern. And that being concerned, but as a small business level, I don't think I'm concerned if they steal my data and sell better for me. As a small things which we are selling, I mean, they help selling plumbing, great. All right, okay. Thank you, everyone.